Imagine for a moment that the next 30 minutes of your life could influence the next 30 years. Not because of a miracle, not because of luck, but because of clarity, because you finally gave yourself permission to pause, to think, and to choose who you want to become. Most people live reactively. They wake up, follow routine, respond to pressure, chase expectations, and end up living someone else's version of success. We rush so fast toward the next task, the next achievement, the next obligation that we rarely stop to ask the most important question of all: what am I actually building? The next 30 minutes is an invitation to do just that. To create a moment of intention. To step out of autopilot. To design the next 30 years of your life with purpose. When we talk about long-term change, people often think it begins with action: work harder, move faster, try more. But lasting change begins with identity. Who do you want to be? Not what you want to have. Not what you want to accomplish. Who do you want to be as a leader, as a friend, as a parent, as a human being? When you define that, everything else aligns. The next job, the next project, the next decision, they all become clearer. And when we lack that clarity, we drift. We make decisions based on fear instead of vision. We choose convenience instead of courage. We choose approval instead of authenticity. The next 30 minutes are about choosing differently. If the next 30 years of your life are going to be better, they won't improve by accident. They'll improve because you become intentional. And intention starts with values. Most people can list their skills. Few can list their values. Skills make you competitive. Values make you consistent. Skills help you make a living. Values help you make a life. Ask yourself, what values have guided me so far? Have they served me? Have they hurt me? Have I lived them, or have I compromised them for comfort? If you don't define your values, the world will define them for you. And the world is loud. It pushes you to be faster, stronger, richer, more impressive. But purpose whispers. It waits for quiet, for honesty, for courage. Those next 30 minutes are where you listen. The next 30 years of your life will be shaped by your relationships more than your achievements. The people you allow into your life determine the standards you live by. Are the people around you lifting you or limiting you? Are they pushing you toward growth or pulling you toward doubt? We become like the people we spend time with. Their stories become our beliefs. Their fears become our boundaries. Their expectations become our pressure. Choose wisely. And ask yourself, who do I need to become so I can attract the relationships that match the life I want to build? Great relationships don't appear, they are earned through empathy, consistency, and courage. We often underestimate the power of small habits. We want massive breakthroughs, dramatic changes, overnight success. But the next 30 years of your life will be the result of small repeated decisions. How you spend the first hour of your day. How you speak to yourself when no one is listening. How you treat others when no one is watching. How you respond when life becomes difficult. The next 30 minutes are your opportunity to identify the habits that shape the future. Habits of gratitude, of learning, of discipline, of humility. Not glamorous habits, foundational ones. You see, most people spend their lives chasing goals. But goals have an end. Purpose does not. A goal is something you reach. A purpose is something you become. Don't ask, what do I want to accomplish in the next 30 years? Ask, what kind of person do I want to be for the next 30 years? Strong goals are built on strong purpose. And strong purpose is built on service. The question that determines fulfillment is not, how do I win? But, how can I help others win? A life of meaning is built on contribution. When you no longer measure success by what you get but by what you give, everything changes. We live in a world obsessed with speed. But the next 30 years won't be shaped by how fast you move. They'll be shaped by how deeply you connect. Slow down enough to reflect. Slow down enough to listen. Slow down enough to grow. Speed can create progress, but stillness creates direction. You can run very fast in the wrong direction. Reflection prevents that. Use the next 30 minutes to ask yourself, where am I running? And why? Your future depends on your answer. Fear will always follow you into the next 30 years. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. But fear is only dangerous when you stop moving. You don't overcome fear by eliminating it, you overcome fear by walking with it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, courage is the decision that something else matters more. And what matters more is your purpose, your integrity, your vision. Fear tries to convince you to shrink. Purpose convinces you to expand. Which voice will you listen to? You will face setbacks in the next 30 years. You will be misunderstood. You will make mistakes. You will fall short. That's not a prediction, that's a guarantee. But setbacks are not signs that you're failing, they're signs that you're growing. You cannot grow while staying comfortable. You cannot evolve while staying the same. And you cannot lead while avoiding struggle. The question isn't, how can I avoid difficulty? But, how can I rise through it? The next 30 minutes give you the opportunity to commit to resilience, to the courage of starting again, to the discipline of showing up even when the results aren't visible yet. If you want a meaningful life for the next 30 years, you must redefine success. Not as comparison, not as competition, but as alignment. Success is waking up and knowing you are living by your values. Success is giving your best, even when no one applauds. Success is choosing integrity over convenience. Success is making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. And the future version of you is waiting, hoping you choose differently today. The next 30 years of your life will also depend on your ability to forgive others and yourself. Carrying resentment forward is like dragging weights into your future. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting what happened, it's about refusing to let it control you. You deserve a future unchained from the past. You deserve a life where you grow from your experiences, not repeat them. Use the next 30 minutes to decide which stories you will no longer allow to define you. The most important investment you can make for the next 30 years is not in money, not in status, not in achievements, it's in yourself. Your mindset, your emotional health, your purpose, your character. Who you are determines how far you'll go. When you grow yourself, everything around you grows. When you strengthen yourself, everything around you strengthens. When you believe in yourself, everything around you begins to shift. If the next 30 years are going to be extraordinary, they will start with one quiet, powerful choice, the choice to live on purpose. Not by default, not by pressure, not by habit, but by intention. Whether you're 18 or 80, your future is still unwritten. And the next 30 minutes, right now, are the doorway. Take them seriously, because the next 30 years of your life depend on what you decide today. Your purpose, your growth, your relationships, your courage, your values, these are the foundations. This moment, this reflection, this decision, this is the beginning. You don't need all the answers, you just need the courage to start. And if you start now, those 30 minutes can define everything that comes next.